Good morning, students. Welcome to English class. So last day we discussed the story, the first part of the story, a shipwrecked sailor by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So hope that you have gone through the text. Okay. Then, who is the narrator? Who is the narrator? The narrator is Velasco, a sailor. And what are the details given about him? He was 20 years old and he was a sailor. Then here in this story, he narrates an incident that happened on 28th February. What happened on that day? His ship wrecked in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. So we have seen the details. The ship fell into an abyss and disappeared. That's what we learned in the story. And also we happen to see we came to know about his friends, the shipmates, other shipmates. How many shipmates were there? How many friends were there? 5. The names: first one Carabello, second one Castillo, third one Raman Herrera, and the next one Rengifo. Okay, so Velasco, Carabello, Castillo, Raman Herrera, and Rengifo. These sailors were sailing in a ship, and the ship wrecked. All of them fell into the sea. And we saw that only Velasco could get into a raft. All others were in water. So it was the duty of Velasco to save his friends. So in the next part of the story, his attempt to save his friends and whether he succeeded in it or not, all these things are mentioned. So we saw that even though he had all his friends nearby, even though all of them were equally important, Velasco decided to save Raman Herrera first. So the life raft, it is mentioned, the life raft was 2 meters long. So what was the difficulty? It was very difficult to move forward. So it was in the sea, waves were there, wind was there, and it was a heavy raft. So even though he rowed fast, even though he rowed using all his strength, he couldn't move forward, advance forward much. So he tried hard. He tried his level best to move forward, but failed. He couldn't move forward. And what happened? Herrera disappeared. That means Herrera sank into the bottom of the sea. And then he attempted to save his friend Rengifo, another friend Rengifo. So this Rengifo also was swimming confidently. He was not at all afraid. He was swimming vigorously to reach Velasco, and he was only 5 meters away from the raft. So 5 meters, we know that it is not a long distance, but in the sea, even this 5 meters is a long distance we have to consider, because against the wind, against the waves, it is not at all easy to move forward. So what happened? Velasco tried to reach near Rengifo. So in the previous part we saw that it was very difficult for Velasco also to move forward to row the raft because it was a heavy one, and it is mentioned he reaches closer than 2 meters. The beginning 5 meters from the raft, but he reached almost near Rengifo. But what happened? there was a wind from opposite side. We know that if the wind is from opposite side, it won't be possible to move. It is very difficult to move against the wind. So here also the same thing happened. Rangifo was swimming confidently. He was almost 2 meters away from the raft. Velasco also was rowing fast, rowing hard to reach Rangifo, but there was a wind from opposite side. So what happened? This Rangifo also became very tired and sank to the bottom of the sea. Then the next one is Carabello and Castillo. So in the beginning we saw that this Castillo was clinging to Carabello's neck because Carabello was wearing a life jacket and this Castillo was clinging to him or holding him closely, tightly we can say. And this Carabello told him, "Oh friend, hold tightly," and all these things. So these two were together and they also were only 3 meters away from the raft. We feel that very near to the raft. But then what happened? There was a huge wave. There was a gigantic wave. And after the wave, Velasco couldn't see Castillo and Carabello. Both of them had disappeared. And what might have happened to them? No doubt, both of them sank to the bottom of the sea. And then he lost all his friends. So Velasco was all alone. He couldn't see any of his friends nearby, and he was almost sure that all of them had drowned or sank to the bottom of the sea. And now in the raft he became aware of the hot sun. So far he was not thinking of this. It was very hot and all the things everything had happened within 10 minutes. That means what are the things happened there? The shipwrecked, everybody fell into the water. Velasco got into a raft. He attempted to save all his friends. All these things happened within 10 minutes. But he felt it took 2 or 3 hours. Even though it happened within 10 minutes, Velasco felt that it was almost 2 to 3 hours, because we know that all the things happened there were unhappy and what we say not any pleasing incidents. So in such cases we know that we will feel that it will take, or it had taken a long period. Actually everything happened within 10 minutes, but Velasco felt 2 or 3 hours, etc. And what was Velasco's hope that time? What did he hope? He hoped that somebody would come very soon and rescue him. That was the only hope. Somebody would come near and rescue him. And then he felt a pain on his right knee. And he looked, and there was a half moon shaped wound. But now it was not bleeding. What may be the reason? It happened maybe while he fell into the sea, or while he tried to get into the raft and all these things, and as he was in sea water, and now it was not bleeding, but he says that he felt a pain there. And now Velasco had nothing else to do to pass the time. So in order to pass time, he took, it is mentioned, he thought of his belongings. That means he thought of the things which he had with him now. What were the things he had? What were his belongings now? He had a watch. And it is told that even though he fell into water, even though he was in water, the watch was running correctly. So he could see the time. Then another thing he had with him was a gold ring. and then he had a chain with a medal of the Virgin of Carmel, and then he had the keys of his locker, and the last thing he had with him, three business cards. And as he had nothing else to do, it is mentioned, he read the cards over and over. That means he read the card, what all things written there in the card many times. Not because of the reason that he hadn't read it earlier. He had nothing else to do. So for time pass, he was doing all these things. He was reading the cards again and again, and he was going through, he was checking the belongings, he was looking at the watch every time, and he really hoped that somebody would come and save him. So that is what is mentioned in the story. So dear children, what you have to do is see, it's a lengthy story. So you have to, there is only one thing that you can do, read it many times. So now we have discussed the main points. So what happened there, the name of the shipmates, how did Velasco try to save them, whether he succeeded, all these things we discuss. How did he try to pass time, all these things. Okay, so now what you have to read is, read the story many times, and there are a number of words which you are not so familiar with. I think last week I sent you the notes, the meanings and everything. Okay, so go through the words, go through the meaning, read the story many times, and then complete the notes. Write down the notes in your notebook and send the copies. That is, take the photo and send the notes to me. Okay, but I really feel that all of you haven't completed or sent me the notes. Okay, only a few. Some of the students have done it very, what we say, very beautifully, very neatly and all, but I haven't got the notes of all of you. So make sure that you complete the notes and study the things, and after the Onam you will have an examination including all the topics we have completed. Okay, so hope that all of you will take your studies seriously and do all the necessary things. So we'll stop for today. Thank you.